So I didn't choose to be a leader. Leadership chose me. And you probably think, Mark, what does that even mean? What are you trying to tell us? Before I get into the topic, I would like to share a very short story with you if you have a moment to listen. And this story takes place long time ago, somewhere far, 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 far away. Imagine having the biggest storm of your life. It's a dark night, the winds are howling, and it's raining, it's cold, this big storm is coming. And there's this big mountain. And on top of the big mountain, there's this huge tree. And on top of that huge tree is a big eagle's nest. And the storm is just picking up in speed and going stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And inside that eagle's nest is a young eaglet. And the wind knocks out the eaglet right out of the nest, and the eaglet falls down from the tree, from the mountain, right down to the ground. Sometime later, the young eaglet opens his eyes. He looks around, he looks up, and sees that the storm has passed. And to his amusement, he's encircled around by the cutest chickens that you can see. They're looking at him, he's looking at them, they're looking at each other, and it was an instant connection. The young eaglet fell in love with the chickens. He started to run around with them, play different games, looking for food, and try to imitate and become a full-fledged chicken. But there was only one problem. The young eaglet started to become a majestic eagle with huge wings that were just propelling forward. And the eagle decided, I don't look like the chickens, but I know I will cut my own wings so I can fit in with the chickens around me. So every day he started cut his wings a little more, a little bit here, a little bit here. He plucked his own wings until there were wings no more. Some time had passed. And all of a sudden, the eagle going around with his chicken, going around about his life. And then he sees two beautiful birds. He looked up in the sky and he recognized, wow, I never seen these birds before. And these two birds, they swooped down to the chicken coop and said to the eagle, brother, we found you after so many times and sleepless nights. We found you finally. Join us into the flight into the heavens so we can show you the secret to the life itself. We can show you the beauty, the majestic mountains, the valleys, the lakes. Join us now. And the eagle got so excited. So he started running and running and running and running. And he started to take off and take off and take off. But he couldn't. His wings were gone. And all he could do, just stand there on the ground and watched his two brothers fly away and being swallowed by the sky. And he turned around and he walked back to the chicken coop because it was time for dinner. If you heard this story before, congratulations. If this is the first time, welcome. This is a story about a bird. Maybe it's about you. Maybe you have found yourself in a situation where you have put yourself maybe in a cell, maybe in a jail of your own making, and instead of living large, living big, living to the full potential of your heart, mind, and soul, you have decided to compress yourself to the little box and surround yourself with the people that don't lift you up, but people who take you down. And if you listening to the sound of my words and you find yourself that you live in less than what you could potentially be, I want you to listen to what I'm about to say. You can program your mind for success, but it takes courage. It takes having the selection, having the right people around you, and taking just one step at a time. So remember what I said, I didn't choose to be a leader, but leadership chose me. So I want to take you back to my childhood and where I came from. If you know someone, I will make a confession. I am a firstborn in my family. And if you are firstborn in your family, you become an automatic leader for the rest of your life. You become a chef, a nanny, a tutor, a cook for your siblings. You take care of them, you drive them around, you watch them after school, you break up fights in your family, but let's be honest, you probably started most of them. And as a firstborn, you are tasked with leading yourself and leading your siblings. So I had this opportunity, and I have been doing this my entire life. I had the good fortune to travel the world, work in different countries, create different opportunities, and meet the most wonderful people. However, it wasn't always with such a mindset to be open to opportunities. When I first moved away from my home, I kind of was upset at the whole world. I said, well, I don't have a lot of opportunities. I don't come from a rich family. What do I do? And over time, I have compressed myself and compressed myself and I compressed myself to a little cell, or perhaps just a little world around me. I said, well, I kind of know everything. I don't need anyone's help. I don't need to ask questions. I don't need to stay curious. All I will do, I will just focus on what I have, and I will just exclude everyone around me. What I learned over time is that when you choose that kind of path, when you choose the path of self-isolation and don't stay curious or don't stay open to possibilities, you limit opportunities in your life. You may have some kind of a complaint. You may have some kind of an issue with somebody in the world. Somebody have said something to you, or somebody didn't give you something, or didn't do as you wanted. So you can choose to remain bitter, or you can choose to become better. So the truth is, to program your mind for success is to choose better every time. One of the strategies that helps me and has helped me for the last, I would say, about 20 years is to do one thing every day that absolutely scares you. Scares you in a way that your mind, your stomach is turning to knots. You're about to vomit. You're about to just pass out. That's how scary it is. I mean, you don't have to go to that extreme, but do one thing every day that scares you. When you take that type of strategy, you neutralize that fear day by day, week by week, month by month. And then when you look back at the process and the journey that you have made, you said, why was I so afraid of? What was I so afraid of? And you will be so glad that you started. Second thing that have helped me to program my mind for success is to put yourself in the situations of learning and connecting and collaborating with other people. About 15 years ago, I used to serve as a youth pastor at a church in Florida, in downtown Orlando. It was one of the biggest assignments for me for leadership at the time. I was selected to lead a congregation of young adults and teenagers spiritually. And again, my ego started grow and said, well, I kind of know everything. This is a great opportunity. And over time, I have learned that I didn't know everything, made a lot of mistakes. And that was a lesson that I'll probably never forget for the rest of my life, is that if you are in a position to lead somebody in your family, in your community, in your work, stay humble, ask a lot of questions, and most of all, listen. I see it in my family. I have relatives living throughout the world and friends. And one of the biggest issues that I see today in families and in businesses and in relationships is that people, they don't listen. They don't listen to each other. They don't listen to themselves. And then they don't have the courage to really express how they really feel about what matters to them. And when I do coaching with my clients, whether they're executives, men and women, a lot of time that I work with their mindset is to give them the tools to express their desires, they express and build their boundaries so they're not violated, so they can build even better teams, better communities, and even better events and opportunities in their life. I have found that people are addicted to their phones. They're addicted to glorification of themselves and not necessarily to others. And if you are viewing this video today, I encourage you to stand out by putting away your digital device, maybe find a way to detox, do digital detox, and truly listen to someone today. What will happen when you do this type of intentional listening, people first, they will probably going to be freaking out. They're like, why is he listening to me so intently? Why is she paying attention to every one of my words? It will be kind of awkward in the beginning. And some people may even say, well, what are you trying to gain? What are you trying to do? I just ask you to stay with it and just practice intentional listening every day, little by little, more and more. What you will find is that you will create a safe space for others to truly communicate with you. They will share with you their dreams, their failures, their flaws, their frustrations. Sometimes you can help. Other times, all you can do is just listen. And that is, I think, is one of the keys for moving forward with success, because I find that so many people just lost the ability to listen to each other. And I see it at the root of so many conflicts, so many problems, so many misunderstandings, that sometimes I ask myself, do the people choose to suffer, or do they choose to listen to each other? And it's simple as that. Next one, another thing to remember as you program your mindset for success is that you have to remember everything you do, somebody is always listening to what you say and how you say it. Somebody is always watching you to what you do and how you do it. And there's always someone looking up to you right now. I remember I have a younger sister. Her name is Yelena. One day she was visiting my house and we were having a dinner, just having a great time. And she was doing the dishes. I was cleaning up the table. We were sharing the chores. And she looked up at me and she said, "Mark, you are the only one who taught me how to drive." And she's still out there driving. If you ever experience the pains of driving the stick shift or even automatic, it takes a lot of patience and compassion and love and guidance to teach somebody how to drive. And I forgot about it. And when she reminded me that, yeah, I did spend time teaching her and just being there for her, teaching her how to drive, is that the things you do in your life that you may think are insignificant and that nobody cares or nobody pays attention or nobody remembers are probably the most significant things you can do. So if you're feeling like, "Mark, I've been trying so many things and not everything is working as fast or the way that I want you just to recognize and remember how far you have come, everything you have achieved, and everything that lies in front of you. And remember, there's always somebody is watching, someone listening, and somebody is looking up at you, seeing in you all the great things that you sometimes forget about yourself." So if you have come to the end of this video, I hope you learn to take more chances, to put yourself in the situations, not where you put yourself and compress yourself in a small box, but take Take the strategy to put yourself in a place where you can soar, not in a place where you can spend time with the cute chickens, but where you can soar with eagles. The second thing to remember is do one thing every day that scares you. It doesn't have to be 10 things, just do one thing. And finally, remember how far you have come. And if we ever get the privilege to meet each other in person or through any other means, you can come to me and say, Mark, I didn't choose to be a leader. Leadership chose me. And then you can tell me your story, and I promise you I will listen. Thank you, everyone, and I hope to see you again soon.